Hey, welcome everybody to this week's webinar. I am joined by Andrew from Parta. This is a webinar for L&D Free Spirits. L&D Free Spirits is a community for freelancers and self-employed professionals who work across the learning and development space. Parta is a platform with a difference. I'm just going to put that out there. I had a play around with it a couple of months ago and I was blown away by the possibilities. So I'm super excited to welcome Andrew with us today, who's going to give us a deep dive into it. And we're going to get a little bit interactive, aren't we?
Yeah, Kim, thank you so much for hosting us and for welcoming. Hi, everyone. I'm Andrew. I'm CEO and co-founder of Parta. Before we'll just launch the screen, let me share my story. Parta is my first company in the learning space. We started in 2016 with the agency. We had a team of about 50 designers creating custom learning content at scale for McKinsey, McDonald's of that world. Then we switched the gears and built two software companies. We built onboarding automation platform and Project LMS and exited from all these businesses about 2 years ago just to focus on Parta. And Parta, in a nutshell, is a product of many years of frustration with some of the more established vendors. We were inspired by products like Figma and Miro and Canva and Notion, and we thought the kind of revolution that they made in their domains, and we thought that our domain waits for this product. So we decided to build Parta, and that idea was born about 5 years ago. It took us a while to build a product that we were proud of, and we released it initially about 1.5 years ago. So it's still kind of baby steps for us, even though we have quite an amazing user universe already now. And I'm happy to see some of our power users joining this webinar today. Hi, Roberto. And to keep it not just a one-man show, maybe I will engage some of our power users that are joining today to share their feelings, best practices, hacks, whatever they would love to be shared with the community. With that, if you don't mind, I will just launch my screen and we'll share a few things with you. Can you see it? Oh, good. Perfect. Let me start again with a few slides to share and define the problem that we are trying to solve with Sparta. What we've seen with our agency business is that demand for custom learning was outpacing the capacity of the L&D teams already for quite some years. And obviously things exacerbated during the COVID times. And since that time, it's just got worse because the demand has kept growing while the capacity of a lot of L&D teams have been optimized. And what we're seeing today is this massive gap between the demand for custom learning and the capacity. So the elephant in the room to us is this gap. Of course, we still need to deliver beautiful, impactful learning experiences. We have this constantly focus on the impact of this green bar, but the elephant in the room is this gap. And we wanted to build a product that will allow our users to close this gap. And there are two major ideas behind this. The first is how we can enable broader team to create the content, is the idea of co-creation and letting some of our non-L&D professional teammates to create the content. I won't spend much time on this because today's webinar is mostly focused on creators and freelancers. So just to share with you, but I will not elaborate further on this idea. And the second idea is just to focus on the productivity, something that totally under our control, how we as a team can be creating the stuff faster, but still with the same impact and quality. And the idea of the productivity, you know better than me that content development is never a solo journey. Even if you act as a freelancer, you have multiple personas on the client side with whom you need to collaborate. Guys responsible for the branding, obviously SMEs, multiple reviewers, legal teams, sometimes it's localization, whatsoever. So the idea, if we want to increase the productivity of the process, we need to take care not just about how we are productive creating the content, but also how kind of efficiently we manage the entire process for the other roles as well. And the first thing we did, we put together all the core elements of kind of content development on the one platform so that you don't have to, I don't know, operate across your Google Docs, Articulate, Dropbox, SharePoint, Asana, emails whatsoever. We wanted like to consolidate all the core like workflows in Parta. And also we transformed it from the individual account into team workspace so that you as a team can operate in a single environment. So that was kind of the like macro idea of behind Parta. Now I will be diving into the product and showing you how exactly we executed on this idea. I don't know, like we definitely have a few professionals joining from the corporate world, so I will just like touch on some of the points that will be relevant to the corporate world. The first boring thing, but really, really important, again, Parta is a teamwork space. So instead of operating across multiple individual accounts, you can bring your entire team together, and then you can be very specific about roles, permissions, and controls. So let's say, like Kim, you're the admin, you know everything, you manage everything, but let's say like you hire me as a like I don't know, pretty advanced designer, but you definitely want me like I don't know to focus on the right things. So, for example, you manage all the branding of free spirits and also some of your clients. So you won't let me to mess around with the branding. I should be designing the content and using no-code editor. Let's say we build the course and we need like to localize it like to Japanese. And instead of like back and forth with the subject matter expert from the client side, why don't we like create a guest access for this person and invite this person to a single course so they won't be able to access all the other stuff we created in our workspace, and we'll let them kind of leave feedback and change content in the single course. So in other words, I can really be very, very specific about finding the balance between freedom, flexibility, and governance and control so that when we scale still kind of keeping the control on the other side. As soon as we brought the entire team together, we start like to build the foundation for our collaboration. The first part is our projects. So everything created in Parta before being like published to the LMSs, websites, whatsoever, is hosted here. And that means that instead of like again like asking like Kim, I know that you built this amazing project like 2 years ago. Can you share with me? I can immediately jump into like, I don't know, this folder, go to this course, copy a section, duplicate, customize, etc. And you can imagine as soon as you like spending more time here, as soon as you have like wider team collaborating, it's really coming to the idea of this kind of discovery, finding the relevant content, and reusing and repurposing the efforts of your colleagues. So this is the first piece, like the joint course library. The second one is resources. So instead of like hosting it like that on a desktop or like SharePoint, you can ensure that all your team have the access to the most up-to-date media assets. So you can have host here all your videos, icons, I don't know, photos of your CEO, whatsoever. And you can ensure that all the team have the access to this most up-to-date assets. And also what we released, I think 2 weeks ago, is that you can also track where the resources has been used. So this screen has been used in, just one course, in these 2 lessons, in these specific blocks. So when I click on the link, I'm being forwarded exactly on the screen. And if I need like to update it, I know where to find it. And also, like, I don't know, maybe I've just uploaded it and Kim building her course. She shouldn't like asking like Andrew, where I can find this, I don't know, screenshot with this notebook on the behind. She can easily find it in the joint like media resource library. Again, to keep our design flow uninterrupted. Projects and resources, this is the foundation. That's just to ensure that all of us are operating with the same kind of environment. The next big thing is standardization. So I think the stuff that we've like touched before, it's a little bit like corporate feeling outside the media resources, which is really handy even for individual creators. But I feel where really you can save a lot of your efforts is through standardization. So the first part is branding. With the branding, I feel that we just completely nailed it. So here we'll start. You can have, by the way, you can have multiple branding themes. And the branding theme, first you start like to build your entire design system. So all the like colors, backgrounds whatsoever. And as soon as you just playing around with the stuff, you can also have this handy preview on the left showing how exactly different like components will be changed while you're like changing your color palette. Typography, you can just upload the entire like font family if you don't find anything relevant in Parta, and then you can build like all these different like heading styles, captions, quotes, links, etc. The next thing is elements. Elements, you design every single detail of every single element. So let's say the audio player. I will, for example, change the background color of the audio player. Then I will make our edges a little bit less rounded. Then I will go for the typography and I will switch from white to black. And maybe let's go to the, I don't know, extra bold. Doesn't look like super bold, but still fine. Timeline, I will switch here and maybe shadow. And shadow, kudos to Roberto. Roberto was behind this feature. So we've built it together with his team. So I will switch like black to maybe blue one. Yeah, cool. And what I've done, I've just optimized it for the entire workspace. I mean that all these granular changes, they don't sit on the individual course level, they live on the workspace level. And I can do the same granularity with all the elements, with my video players, I don't know, the tabs. You can see maybe, like, I don't know, do we want like to keep it vertical or like horizontal? Again, Roberto, thank you. Do we want like to keep it like split it or solid? Do we want like to change the background of the content area, etc.? All these changes on the element side and the same on the LMS side. So let's say if our client would love to have the navigation between in the course using their LMS, so maybe we can altogether disable the navigation buttons in part and rely just on the LMS navigation. Or, for example, we want like prohibit users to have the access to the menu, so that it's just like linear progression of the course, etc. All this granularity, all the settings, we can make them default, and that means that everyone is always on brand. We don't optimize it on the individual course level, we solve it on the workspace level. And let's imagine that at some point, I don't know, we have a few dozen courses and our branding is updated. So what we do, we just go here, fix it, and automatically all the courses will be updated. And the same works with the rebranding. So I will just show you. Let's, for example, create a new branding theme. I will create this NVIDIA style default dark. So let's see how our existing course looks like. Okay, this orange, blue colors. Okay, and I would love to share this course with another client, NVIDIA. I will go and change this template to default dark, click save, preview. So this is the same course, but it's branded differently. It took me really seconds to rebrand. So that's the branding piece. The other big part of the standardization is layouts. So you have already pretty advanced like templates library here in Parta. So you have all this kind of hotspots, cards, simulations, different type of quizzes, whatsoever. But I think the beauty of Parta is that you also have a no-code editor. With a no-code editor, you can create stuff that allows you really to storytell your way. So let me show you like a basic workflow, how you just playing with the templates, and then we'll just focus on the no-code. So let's say, I don't know, I need like to add this cards and slider and maybe just continue button. Then I would love to have this dialogue simulation. And I would love to add like a group in here, add. All of them are added, and then you just simply add it. You can just, I don't know, let's replace the image. Let's see, I don't know, maybe we'll upload something from the Unsplash. So this jungles looks nice. I simply change the text. Maybe I will use, I don't know, here I will use AI assistant to improve writing. So yeah, it's quite straightforward. But I think the beauty, again, is this no-code editor that allows you really to storytell your way. So for example, I would love to tell you the story about the latest product update in Parta, and I will use tabs to tell you the story. By the way, you can see that tabs have been kind of, the design has updated based on what we've done like a few minutes ago when we played around with the branding. So let's say we released 8 features across branding and AI categories. And within branding, we have 3 different features. So image and text doesn't help me to tell the story. So what I will do, I will go to the no code and I will replace the image with the other interactive element, maybe accordion. And then I will add a few more accordions, depending like based on the number of features that we have. So let's say it's going to be like, I don't know, feature 1. And feature 1 is going to be focused on the shadow customization. So inside of this first accordion, I will add maybe just hotspots to show where you can find the shadow customization settings. So you can see that you can merge different interactions together. You're never limited with just on the shelf stuff. You can always storytell about more complex subjects in more structured fashion. And you can also do like cool design stuff. So let's say we would love to have this block full widths, and then, I don't know, maybe we'll split it in 2 columns. And on the right, we would love to have, I don't know, like video. And video, we can limit the size. So maybe the width should be a maximum, like, I don't know, 400 pixels. And we'll like, I don't know, align it to the center. On the background, and apologies for doing like ugly design. It's just like to show you the art of possible. And the background, we'll use an image. And again, let's find the image for our, okay, let's find like, I don't know. Okay, I'm now in Vegas, so it's like, it looks like a great background. Perfect. And so the idea is that, first of all, you can really design stuff that different to your like default like templates. But the grand thinking behind it is the idea of templatization so that you can reuse these assets, both yourself, but also you can share it with your team so that you can keep the consistency. We work a lot with the custom education vertical, and that's where we see people mastered it like, and I think maybe at some point I will give the word to Roberto, because I think their team was one of the very first to jump on this idea. But yeah, in general, it's the idea of templatization so that all our learning look consistent, and also we can build fast. How? I will just save it as a template. I don't know. I will go like, I don't know, desert plus tabs. I will save to our corporate folder. So it's available not just to myself, but for the rest of the team. Now let's imagine, Kim, you're building your lesson, and you know that now we have this new cool asset that I've created. So you can just go and take from the shelf the layout that we've just created. The more we templatize, the faster we create. So now I see that some of our users have hundreds of their own templates that are more complex, so that they can really pack some basic interactions in more complex, like, I don't know, building blocks, so that they can ship and build the stuff much faster, retaining the kind of the beauty of the design. So this is the standardization piece. The next big thing that we focused on was collaboration. So I'm just trying like to find a little bit more complex block here. Okay, so I see that we have these tabs with multiple like paragraphs. So again, I will use AI to, for example, make it shorter. Okay, and then I need like someone to proofread just this text. So when I leave in feedback, it's on the element level. I think that's doesn't matter whether you're corporate or individual designer. We waste a lot of energy and time on this like back and forth commenting, right? So when you're a reviewer leaving feedback, they can just attach it. Review AI generated text. And you see the feedback pops up exactly on the canvas where the effort is needed. And then the beauty of the teamwork space that we see all the comments in our feed. So when I click on it, I'm being forwarded exactly where the effort is needed. So I think it's already kind of a nice productivity improvement. But the other like hack that I love is that you can also organize the review process much more efficiently. So let's say we built this course a few quarters ago, and we literally added just this one block. So if I would love my reviewer focus on this individual, avoid this unnecessary aha moment for the reviewer, what I can do, I can share for review just this single block or section. So it's up to me what I ask to review so that we can focus the efforts of our reviewers on the right stuff. By the way, can you hear me well? Because I'm getting the notice that my internet connection is not stable. All good?
Yep, you froze for a
Right.
moment, but you're back in the room, Andrew. Don't worry.
Amazing. Cool. So this is the first piece, for the granularity of the review process, both from the reviewer side and from the designer side. The other piece of the collaboration is task management. So let's say altogether we a little bit like skeptical of this complex steps with a lot of like text, and we don't love the background of this. So we would love someone to, I don't know, like to check the accessibility of this layout. So I will leave a task here. Check the accessibility. And I will assign this task to Archie, and I will ask to help me by Friday. Cool. Again, Archie is notified, but he can also go to the tasks tab. All our projects on the Kanban, drag and droppable, filterable. So let's see, for example, what's on the Archie's plate. Okay, 2 tasks. So I can imagine I'm Archie. So when I click on the task, I'm skipping this Jira spreadsheet screenshot like workflow. I'm jumping exactly on the canvas where the effort is needed. Let's say we're good here. I can mark this done. When we go back, we'll see that it's already marked as done. So this is your task management just embedded in Parta. As soon as you built your course, exporting, so you can just usual suspects, SCORM, PDF, HTML. With SCORM, the nice feature that we built a few weeks ago that allows you to slice your course. Every lesson can be exported as a separate SCORM object, because oftentimes we know that clients prefer to have every lesson separately to have better tracking, better analytics on the LMS side, so that you can avoid this kind of duplicating course. Kind of dependent on the number of lessons, you can just go for multiple SCORMs. So that means that you will have, in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 SCORM objects separately, so that you can again like skip unnecessary like clicks.
Hang on a minute. So can I just get this right, Andrew? Because this is blowing my mind a little bit. So if I was building something for a client and they wanted it in separate lessons, so they had separate entities in their LMS, at the minute I would have to build each segment separately, have a separate storyline file or a rise file or whatever I was using. But this, I could build it all at once and then just say, okay, let's publish separately.
Yes.
Okay. I'm officially, as an e-learning developer, I am officially in love with Parta. Okay, I'm going to go back on mute now.
Okay. Yeah, that was shipped like a few weeks ago, and like most of the features that we built, it's not because we are smart, it's because we are listening to our users. This feature was actually um, co-designed with Debbie Smith, the head of Custom Education Association, because we know that like granularity of like tracking for custom education is really, really important. So yeah, this is the exporting. Translation, you can do like AI translation in Parta, just selecting like the source language, target language, click translate, and we are done. We've also, and yeah, I'll just quickly show you. So let's say we'd love to translate to French. We translate. And while it's being like translated, we can have the history of translation. So
Apologies, he'll be back in a moment. Any questions that you've got or anything that you want to dig more into, just make sure that you bob it into the chat. So when Andrew comes back, so we've got, does it have Welsh in it? Out of all of the languages, Jane, we will check when it comes back. Just while Andrew is frozen, I'm just going to launch a quick poll to find out who in the room is employed or self-employed. So while Andrew joins us back, let's just doing the quick poll, Andrew, to find out if people are employed or self-employed while you were sorting out the internet to come back in the room. And you're on mute.
check, can you hear me?
Yep, all good.
Yeah.
Jane has just asked, with the language, is Welsh included?
Let's see.
Okay, I'm just going to end the poll. Thank you all very much. So half and half split. Half the group employed, half the group self-employed.
So yes, we have Welsh. Let's see how it works. Anybody speaking Welsh? Can we have anybody like QAing the end product?
I know the word for hug.
So let's preview. Let's see how it goes.
Oh, Jane, is your mind blown? I mean, I've had to have a course translated into 5 different languages, and it was the GDPR course that I built, and they wouldn't get external translation company in to do it. So I gave it to each of the countries and said, right, here you go, translate it. And one of the countries wouldn't. So I used Google Translate, and that did not go down well. Please don't do that, everybody. So having this translation built in is so much easier.
And
So Andy's doing French, English, German, Mandarin, and Japanese at the moment. Have you got Mandarin?
yeah, let's play with the Mandarin. I don't know whether we have anyone like really available for proper QA, but I think Chinese. It's simplified, right?
Chinese simplified, yes.
Let's
I love how
see.
quick it is as well.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. I see. I see. It looks like I'm translating the Welsh into Japanese. Let's go back to this one. Okay, it's being processed. And also, we know that with auto translation, we will never get to the kind of 100% quality. So this is the idea that we can have our subject matter experts as guest users so that we can invite them to a single course and they can polish it like to the level where we are comfortable with. So this is the idea, and we haven't yet announced, but last week we built the integration with Phrase. Phrase is one of the largest these translation management vendors globally, so that you can just power all your translation with your existing. And again, Roberto, thank you. You can power your localization efforts with all already existing solution, because oftentimes we would find that localization never starts with the learning. You have your product localization, you have your marketing localization, you have some other teams responsible for the localization. And instead of you starting like from scratch, you can rely on their efforts and you can just plug in into their templates, translation memories, whatsoever, so that you can really build the kind of, yeah, you can just do localization standing on the shoulders of your colleagues from the other departments. So yeah, I think we have here the Mandarin. I have no idea about Mandarin, but it definitely looks like not the languages that I know. I've been like in China a
You
few
never
times, so
know.
it looks like China.
It could be giving you instructions on how to use a washing machine. This is where having somebody who is a native speaker of the language for review cycles comes in really handy, doesn't it?
Yeah. So this is the localization. Uh, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. There are like a few other like big things that we have, but I think I will just like stop here so that we have also enough time for the Q&A.
So, while you're all thinking of questions to ask, Andrew has a bit of an offer for everybody. So, shall we launch the poll, or do you want to tell them what the offer is?
No, I think like what we are working on is we're building now the portfolio templates. And I think in a few weeks' time, or like in the months, we're going like to launch the portfolio template so the individual creators can not just build on Parta, but also post their content in Parta and make like a beautiful like web design experience. So we are looking for like a testers who would be open to give it a try, to play around, not just with the templates, but with Parta itself as well. But our focus will be just to give the feedback on the templates. So if any of you like have a bandwidth and interest, we will be happy just to give you the access for 3 months for kind of complimentary, but just ask you like to play around and give us some feedback.
Yeah. So if you fancy having a play around, the poll is up on the screen at the moment. Those of you listening into a recording, you can get in touch with Andrew. The link to his LinkedIn will be in the recording notes.
Cool. I think let's collect the results a little bit later, and we'll just share with the folks accordingly.
Yeah.
Other than that, why don't we have maybe Q&A? I know that we have a few people that probably haven't touched Parta, so I expect they may have some questions.
Okay. So feel free to come on camera, come off mute, or bob your questions into the chat.
Okay,
So,
maybe while we have okay, uh,
so
cool,
we've just had
Jane.
a new person joining as well. Sorry, Andrew. Hi, Aubrey. We've just gone through the demo and now we're opening up to questions. So Jane has just put a question in. She's definitely going to look to do a comparison between this and Rise as a potential replacement for tech on a new project. See, that's my thinking as well. Like, because let's just take, for instance, the corner rounding on the player, the video player, the corner rounding. To do that in Rise is an absolute nightmare. You have to publish it, you have to do CSS or whatever. I don't understand that. I know people that do it. But to change the corner rounding on something is an absolute bane of existence in Rise. So just that thing is worth a shift for me.
Yeah, keep. I will spend like 1 minute, like one small thing that I always seen like smiles on people who use Rise a lot. Give me 1 second. Um, Oftentimes we know that we need like to reorganize the blocks in our courses, right? So let's imagine we need like to put this kind of flip cards, this stuff that we've built, and I don't know, this block number 5 in the very bottom of this page. So we know that if we were in Rise, we'll be just doing things like click, click, and click. In Parta, you can just select multiple blocks and you can just drag and drop them. It's a really small one, but I know that most of the users that switch in from Rise, they say like, gosh, we're just like saving like hundreds, if not thousands of clicks per week. So yeah, it's okay. It's a little bit like an anecdotal story, but yeah, we'll be happy to share also like a very detailed benchmarking. I think while we having like folks also thinking about the questions, we have Roberto on the call, and Roberto, we've been lucky to partner with for quite some time. His company Personio is the first one, the first client in the customer education, and we've built really a lot of stuff together. So I just wanted like just to give maybe some time to Roberto so that he can share like I don't know his view on Parta. We haven't agreed this prior to the call, but I think having Roberto joining the call is a good opportunity so that you just don't hear pitching from my side, but you have a real user sharing their experience as well.
Yeah. Hi, Andrew. Hi, Kim. Everyone. Yeah, what I would focus on would be one feature. The first feature that really made us switch to Parta was exactly all the branding features. And somebody mentioned Rise in the chat. Really, for us was like the way we created the Voyager, our academy in Personio. There is a lot of personality there, like a lot around branding. Everything has to be on brand, and it's always been a non-negotiable for us at Personio. And so when we saw what we could do with Parta, that was what why we decided in first place. One of the most important reasons we switched to Parta. It just gives us really, it enables us to achieve that personality that we wouldn't have achieved using another tool. And that's one reason. And even as a best practice, if I can say, like spend time enough upfront in tweaking your components, building your own library, setting everything on brand for your company if you are in-house, or for your customers if you are freelance, because that saves you like a lot of time on the long run, and then you can focus on the content and not on the container. That's one thing. And the other thing that we are exploring now these days is the multi-score. We haven't explored that before because it didn't exist, and I think multi-score, it's great for several reasons. One is also about stats. With multi-score now we can really be granular, like we can really measure the impact of each part of the course and not only as a whole. And one thing I'm working personally is working with the product, Personio product, to help scale the product, to grow the activation of the product. So I'm working with the product managers. We have a setup wizard in the product. So when you buy Personio, you start in there and you go through a series of steps. And what we are doing is to provide some links to content in our academy so that we can help customers when at the moment they need. And one critique that I was receiving so far was that sometimes customers really needed to enable one step, and this step was covered in one part of the course. So it would be counterproductive just setting up the link for the whole course. The customer might get lost, might not know where to look into the course, and then it would drop eventually. So this is something multi-score will resolve. And again, it's great for this. And I saw Kim said that half of the people here are freelance. I think that's also an opportunity for freelancers, because you can sell better your value to the companies you work with. Like, you don't have to position yourself just as the one that provides some content, but you can act as a strategic partner and say, hey, with this feature, for example, we can do this. We can partner with other teams in your company and drive adoption of your service or product. So yeah, sorry, said a lot, but
Yeah. No, Roberta, that's really cool. And also, maybe you can share your experience with templates, because I think you also kind of like invested quite a lot of efforts in building the templates and how that impacted the way how you're building courses, the productivity, the consistency aspect of it.
Yeah, that ties well with what I was mentioning before about the building the components library. That's something we are investing time. Again, these days I'm working a lot. I'm reviewing our main learning path course by course. And what I notice some of these courses were already transitioned into Parta, some not. And what I'm noticing is a lot of small discrepancies, because when this is maybe something a freelance doesn't have as an issue, because you are the sole person developing all the content. But when you're working with more people or in a team, it's really difficult sometimes to achieve that consistency, so that it really feels like every course is produced by one entity, one brand, rather than different people. And here is where templates and all the standardization helps achieving that.
I'd say that that's super important from a freelancer's perspective. If I was creating a suite of courses for a client, I want to then enable them to create once I'm gone, show them how to do things. And I've done this before where I've created the templates and then given them the means to create courses in future. So to be able to do that with Parta and having the brand kit and having the templates and just having that collaborative feel is an absolute bonus for a freelancer, because we can purchase the team for the client. We have a seat, get it all set up, and then just be like, here you go. Here's your package of content. Here's how to use it.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you, Roberto, for sharing this.
Yeah, no problem.
Do we have maybe some other questions? I see that translation was a pretty like vibrant topic to discuss. Yeah, translation is a huge one. Again, personally, I think when we were building Parta, we wanted to break down the silo of the individual designer. The more I think about the kind of the learning process, the learning design, the more I think there are opportunities to break down other silos. It's just like the team who involved in the content development. Then we have the other departments. Then we have the other parts of the company. Then we have the other processes. And you can find a lot of silos in all of this. So I think the translation is a very good example. So I think that's what we had with Roberto's team as well, right? So they had two different tools for translation localization. One being adopted by product team and some other parts of the company, and the other tool was owned by the customer education. Obviously, if you have already massive localization team invested into localization of some other pieces of the assets of the company, why should you have two different platforms altogether, right? We would love to get the benefit of somebody else's efforts in our company. And personally, I just don't understand this idea. Why should you build in the translation management altogether in the e-learning product outside AI translation? AI translation is fine. That's what we invested in. But I think more institutional and longer term way, bring it forward, is just to break down the silo and leverage the products that used by the other parts of the company. That's why we started to build the integrations. I think Phrase is the first one. There will be more integrations. And if you have a view and you know that the tools that have been used by your clients or by your company, that's a good idea. Just let's build the integration. Let's power your translation localization efforts from with the tools that you already invested in. So that's how we think about the product. We don't want like just to hardwire and build the stuff that I don't know, that makes sense from our perspective. We would love to integrate with the other tech stack in your company. That's why we're now building the integration with Zapier, so that, for example, you can connect all your review process and task management with what you have already. Do you have Asana? Perfect. Let's power your Asana with the task with Parta. Do you have like, have you got used to like sharing the links in Slack? Let's do it. Teams, fine. So that's kind of the view how we're building most of the workflows to stay connected with the rest of the company or outside world, if it's a freelance.
I love how open you are to feedback as well. And you're wanting to make the best platform for developers rather than it just being, let's just do it because it's easy. You're integrating so much stuff. One thing that I was thinking just off the back of Jane's comment about what the accessibility is like for the blocks and the courses is, do you have a statement on it? Because she needs to meet public sector requirements and have to show how it supports WCAG. And I know that you've got an accessibility report that I'll share with everybody on
Yep.
the session afterwards as well. I'll send out a link to that.
Yep.
One thing that I was thinking off the back of that, in your brand kit, when you're doing your color checker, it would be great if it gave you a warning if it wasn't going to be like the contrast checker, for instance, if it wasn't going to be an approved contrast level, contrast difference, if it'd give you a warning to say, oh, actually, check your contrast. This is not accessible.
Yeah.
That would be
Well,
that. Let's get that one in there.
Yeah, well, I think it's some major things will happen later this year, and it will be part of it. It will be
Okay.
part of it. You
That will
will.
make us happy.
I am blown away in a way how we build it from the engineering perspective. I hope you will enjoy it as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
And James just asked as
I,
well,
I
is there a way to extract the contents of the course for backups? So, like if I had a bunch of images and videos in there and then the text, could I kind of export that as a zip file? So I've got all of the different elements.
so first of all, right, when you export in your SCORM, it's your zip, right, with all the objects, right? HTML as well. Also, like for individual creators, we have monthly subscription, and monthly subscription means that if you unsubscribe, we'll retain all your assets for 6 months. So that means that most likely you can still kind of maintain your subscription because, like, I think $50 per user per month for freelancers is a very good like value prop.
Yeah.
But
US,
coming back to the original,
is
yeah,
that
US dollars.
US dollars? Okay. Which is super, super reasonable for an authoring tool that has as much power as Parta.
I couldn't disagree. But yeah, I think, Jane, do you think that export HTML will give you enough comfort? And again, like also, I'll just show you the way how you manage it. When you build an individual course level, you can have all your resources stored on the individual course level, and then you can also download all the resources. So it's up to you where you keep them. It could be like your resource library on the workspace level or on the project level, and that allows you just to streamline how you can just, I don't know, download all the assets from this level as well.
Love that.
Yeah,
Okay, so I've got
and
a
I
few...
think and
Sorry, go
and
on.
I think I just saw like a hashtag in Andy's comment about deleting. I think, Kim, I haven't shown you last time, but anything deleted in Parta can be restored, specifically lessons. So I know that when you delete a lesson in Articulate, you're in trouble. So I've deleted now a lesson, and I can easily restore a lesson here. So you can restore lessons, projects, blocks, so nothing is lost.
And version control?
So a few things how you manage it. So let's open the course. Where is our asset? For example, this one. And I would love to, I don't know, like restore something more meaningful. So I have full block history. I see all the changes, who, where, and what were the changes. So I can apply the previous version. I can also manage the access. So again, for example, to this course, I can decide who's on my team, who altogether have the access to this course. And let's say we've built like everything except for this chapter with the simulation. So I can go into the settings and I will lock it from the editing. So that means you cannot touch this part of the course. We can still kind of continue working it. So there are multiple levels. You can lock from the editing, even individual blocks, sections, lessons, like maintain who have the access and have the block history. In ideal world, I would love to get to the level when we have like history of changes on the lesson level or on the course level. It's not yet there. We'll find a way to build it. Okay, branch scenarios. Good question. So let's open the course.
Because this was one of the questions that I had initially, wasn't it? I was like, can I do branching?
So the answer is yes. So for example, you can hear that there are like a few blocks and I will keep here. So when I click, I've been forwarded to the different parts of the course. The way how it works, you can add buttons. Let me find. Okay, so you can see there are 3 buttons, and every button can have a setting. Sorry. Okay. I cannot edit it because I disabled the editing here. Okay, I will just unlock it. Okay, let's go back to the course. Find our buttons here. Okay, let's play around with this one. Let's go here. Okay, any button has following settings. It could be, of course, navigation. And then it could be like, I don't know, next section, previous section, or go to. Go to, that means that I can pick up this section and I can pick up the block. Block number 5, for example. And then when I click, I'm being forwarded back to the course, back to the lesson where the navigation led me to. So this is the first piece. Again, with these buttons, you can just navigate people differently in the course. Kim, that's what we discussed with you. This is like a scenario simulation. That's, I think, Kim, that you asked us about. So you can just, I don't know, like this software simulations. I don't know. This is the way how you manage the simulations. Translations in Parta. So you can do like this click through stuff.
Yeah, because that was one of the
and it could be,
wasn't it? It was, how do I do a software demonstration? How do I do branching scenarios? And I was like, those are the 2 things that I have to be able to do.
Yeah. So yeah, you can just do like simulations, and again, like with the buttons, I'm just trying like to find where is this kind of buttons. I just lost it. But yeah, again, this, it could be like default buttons. It could be transparent buttons, like in this example. The button that we've added, we customize that you don't give the feeling to your learner that it's a button here. Is like just this native navigation that, yes, I'm interested here. I will click and you will be forwarded. So yeah, I think it's just like nice web experience here. Jane, thank you so much for your questions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we've got a couple of minutes left, everybody. So thank you very much to Andrew for giving us a deep dive into Parta. I do love the platform. Remember, there is the 3-month free trial for testing the portfolio element. I know some of you have voted if you would like to take part in that. If you didn't get a chance to vote, please just drop in the comments if you would like the link to the free trial. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining us today. I will be sending out a quick survey following this session, and also once I've got it, the accessibility details as well. So thank you so much, Andrew.
Kim, thank you very much for putting us together, and thank you very much, guys, for joining the call. Have a great rest of your week.